Picture this. A young woman from the Philippines walks into an arena in the middle of Austria. Clay freshly laid beneath her feet. Thousands of hostile fans packed into the stands, all of them desperate to see her lose. She's not rattled. She's not wide-eyed. She looks around, takes it all in, and somewhere behind those eyes, something clicks into place. Because she's been here before, not in this building, not on this exact court, but in this feeling, the pressure, the noise, the weight of everyone in the room wanting you to fail. She knows this feeling, music, and more importantly, she knows exactly what to do with it. That's Alex, music, and if you haven't been watching her closely over the last few months, you are already behind. Let's fix that right now. The Upper Austria Ladies Lind Open is turning 35 this year. And to mark the occasion, the people running this tournament did something genuinely surprising. They didn't just add a new sponsor banner or upgrade the trophy. They tore out the hard courts entirely. All of them gone. In their place, they hauled in 100 tons of crushed red clay and built something completely new inside the city's design center. 100 tons. Think about the logistics of that decision alone. The sheer commitment to transformation. They wanted a different kind of tournament, a different kind of atmosphere, a different kind of tennis. And in doing so, perhaps without even realizing it, they handed Alex one of the most favorable first-round environments she could have possibly asked for. She enters Lind as the 6th seed. That's not a small thing. Music 6 months ago, a year ago, that seeding would have seemed ambitious. Now, it feels almost conservative given what she's been doing. Because the past 2 months have been nothing short of remarkable for this young woman, and the way they've unfolded tells you a great deal about who she is becoming as a player and as a competitor. Earlier this year, Alex went through the Sunshine Double. For anyone unfamiliar, that's the back-to-back stretch of Indian Wells in Miami. 2 of the biggest tournaments outside the Grand Slams played on hard courts back-to-back with almost no rest in music between. The fields are massive. The conditions are grueling. The travel alone is exhausting. Most players consider it a success if they go deep at one of the 2 events. Music, Alex went deep at both. Round of 16 at Indian Wells. Round of 16 at Miami in the same stretch on hard courts against players who have been doing this for years, who know every trick, every pattern, every way to slow down a young aggressive player who hasn't yet seen every situation the tour can throw at her. Those players tried all of it, and it didn't work. Music, she beat them anyway. What stood out wasn't just the results. It was the way she competed. Music, there were moments in those matches where she was pushed back, where the ball wasn't going where she wanted, where the match could have tilted. And she didn't flinch. She stayed in the point, stayed in the game, and eventually found a way through. That's a quality you can't coach in the traditional sense. You develop it by being tested and refusing to break. Alex is developing it at a remarkable rate. But here's the part that should genuinely concern every other player in this draw. Hard courts are not even where she's most dangerous. They're not her natural home. They're a surface she's learned to compete on and compete on brilliantly, but they're not where her game was designed to operate. Clay is, and not just any clay training, not a few weeks hitting balls on red dirt to prepare for the French Open. Music, we're talking about years spent at the Rafa Nadal Academy in Majorca. Years. That place doesn't just teach you how to play on clay. Music, it teaches you how to think on clay, how to be patient without being passive, how to build pressure over the course of a rally until your opponent has no good options left, how to use the surface itself as a weapon. The philosophy that made Nadal the most dominant clay court player who ever lived is embedded in every drill, every session, every match played at that academy. Alex absorbed all of it. You can see it in how she constructs points. She doesn't just swing hard and hope the ball goes in. She places each shot with intention, angling her opponent wider, pushing them deeper, waiting for the moment when the court opens up, and then hitting through it with everything she has. Her topspin, generated through a left-handed swing that already creates awkward angles for opponents used to facing right-handers, kicks off the clay at heights and angles that are genuinely uncomfortable to deal with. You're not just defending against pace. You're defending against spin that jumps at your shoulder, at your throat, forcing you up on your toes and out of your natural strike zone. That's not power tennis. That's chess played at high speed. And Alex is very good at it. So, When you think about what it means for her to arrive in Lind right now, fresh off the best hardcore run of her career, stepping onto a surface where her game has even more room to breathe, the picture becomes pretty clear. She's not just in good form heading into a clay tournament. Music, she's a clay specialist who just proved she can compete at the highest level on a completely different surface. That combination, the confidence of recent results meeting the comfort of a familiar surface, is a genuinely dangerous thing. Now, let's talk about who stands in her way first, Music, because Julia Grabher deserves a fair and honest look. She is 29 years old. She has been on the WTA Tour long enough to have earned everything she has, and she reached a career-high ranking of 54 in the world back in 2023. She currently sits at 87, which means she's fighting to hold her ground. Music fighting to stay relevant in a tour that doesn't slow down for anyone. She is not someone who stumbled into this draw by accident. She worked for her spot here. More than Music, her ranking, more than her results, what makes Grabher genuinely significant in this specific match is where she's playing. This is her home, Austria. Music, her country, the city where she grew up essentially nearby. And the Linz Open, with its new intimate arena built to bring fans close to the court, built to generate that suffocating, electric, almost unbearable kind of atmosphere, is going to be absolutely packed with people who want nothing more than to see her win. That matters. In tennis, home crowd advantage is a real and quantifiable thing. When you're the local hero and the crowd is fully behind you, every point feels different. Your winners land with the roar of thousands behind them. Music, your opponent's errors are met with a kind of delighted applause that gets under your skin if you let it. Tight moments in a match, the kind that could go either way, start to tip toward the home player because the pressure is externalized. It's sitting in the stands, breathing down the neck of the visitor. Grabher knows this, and she knows how to use it. She's a grinder, a true clay court fighter who spent time competing on the WTA 125 clay circuit in Turkey earlier this year specifically to sharpen herself for this moment. Her game plan against Alex won't be complicated, but it will be disciplined. She will defend. She will absorb pace. She will push the rallies long, send back high, looping balls that break rhythm, force Alex to reset, force her to hit one more ball, one more time, hoping that somewhere in that process, the errors start to come. She will lean on the crowd every time the momentum shifts, even slightly. She will use every bit of experience she has to make this match feel like a war. And if Alex were a different player, if she were someone who fed off energy but crumbled under sustained pressure, that strategy might work. Music, but she isn't that player. And this is where the match tactically starts to break down in Grabher's favor. When Alex gets that heavy topspin forehand working on clay, the bounce it produces a problem that doesn't go away. You can try to handle it in the first game, Music the second game, the third, but by the fifth, by the sixth, by the time you've spent a full set defending balls that are exploding up at your shoulder over and over again, your body starts making decisions your mind hasn't approved. You start backing up further. You start aiming for safer targets. Music, you start thinking about where Alex is going to hit the next ball instead of thinking about where you want to put yours. That shift, that subtle mental surrender disguised as caution, is exactly what Alex is designed to produce. She doesn't need to hit a single spectacular winner to create it. She just needs to be relentlessly consistent, relentlessly heavy, relentlessly present in every single rally until Grabher's legs and lungs and decision-making all start sending the same message at the same time. And the moment a ball drops short, the moment Grabher can't get enough on a shot to push Alex back, Music, Alex will be inside the baseline before the ball has barely bounced. She'll take it early, she'll hit through it clean, and the point will be over. Not with a dramatic flourish. Music, just efficiently. The way a player does when the situation has already been decided several shots ago and the winner is simply the confirmation. The crowd will start loud. Of course they will. This is Austria. This is their player. And the atmosphere that the Linz organizers have built is designed to be felt by everyone on the court. The first few games might be genuinely hostile. There will be groans at every Alex winner, cheers at every Grabher point, a wall of noise trying to make the court feel like a place where Alex doesn't belong. But crowds, even the most passionate ones, respond to what they're watching. And as the games go by, as the reality of the tactical matchup becomes visible to everyone in the building, the mood, music will change. It won't be a slow, gradual fade. It'll be more sudden than that. There'll be a moment somewhere in the first set where the crowd gets quiet, not because they've given up, but because they're watching something they didn't expect and they don't quite know how to respond to it. Music, their player is working incredibly hard. She's fighting for every point, but the points keep ending the same way and the crowd, for all its passion, can feel that something is wrong. By the time that realization fully sets in, Alex will already have the set. What makes this match matter beyond the round itself is what comes music next and what comes after that. Alex is seeded 6th in a 28-player draw, which means she isn't just hoping to survive the early rounds. She's here to go deep. Music, and lurking in the second round is Elena Oapenko, the 4th seed, a former French Open champion, one of the most explosive and unpredictable ball strikers in the women's game. Ostenko on clay is a fire alarm. She can hit any shot at any time from any position. And when music, she's on, she's one of the most entertaining and terrifying players to face on the entire tour. But you don't get to Oapenko without handling Grabher first. You don't get the big match without winning the necessary one. Alex knows this. It's the kind of calculation that experienced players make naturally. Music, understanding that a tournament is a sequence of problems and each one has to be solved before the next one presents itself. There's also a broader context here that's worth sitting with for a moment. This is the start of the European clay swing. Every point earned on the surface between now and Roland Garros carries weight. Ranking, music points, confidence, form, the sense of where your game stands relative to the rest of the field on red clay. For Alex, a deep run at Lind wouldn't just mean a good result at a good tournament. Leaned on that narrative. She's never positioned herself as someone fighting against the odds for the sake of a story.